So I've got to update Chadbourn, North Carolina. The former police chief of the town of Chadbourn was arrested in April 2021 on 70 felony charges. So this is that. Yeah. The video that we put up, I called him North Carolina's over-the-top dirty cop. Anthony Spivey is the guy's name. And so just to catch y'all up and anybody else who didn't hear that episode. So he got arrested. He's facing, at this point, 70 felony charges.
That's fucking insane.
Including larceny, obtaining property by false pretenses, trafficking in opiates by possession. He was also charged with stealing $8,000 from a cancer kid. He was initially held under a $1 million bond, but was released after the bond was reduced to $400,000.
He did the thing all drug addicts talk about, is long con themselves into a cop job and then steal all the drugs from the evidence room. Yeah. That's like literally what he did.
And then he got arrested
Just
again.
A determined drug addict. That's what that is.
So he got.
You think you have addictions?
I became a police chief.
All cops are bastards, and so am I.
Yeah. So he got arrested again, and we talked about this. The reason it popped up on my radar is because he did all that stuff. You know, stole all the guns, drugs, money from a cancer kid, which you're just like, this is just the most despicable motherfucker. To the point where
that kid's Make-A-Wish was to be caught up in an episode of Law and Order.
Yeah, exactly. And then he got arrested again because he stole 2 catalytic converters from the garage that he's been working at, and
flew too close to the sun, young Icarus.
And I got this little detail. Apparently, he stole the catalytic converters during a Christmas party. Which makes it so much funnier.
Shit, I didn't bring anything for the white elephant.
And I'll tell you right now, I am so happy this man is not Jewish. Can you imagine? Could you imagine if he's like, I'm going to ruin the Christmas party?
Yeah.
This is the best Grinch reboot I've ever heard.
Yeah. The Grinch is real. But yeah, apparently they're having like a Christmas party at this fucking auto garage, and he's like, guys, I got to use the restroom. And then he goes in and he's just like, sees 2 catalytic converters sitting there. He's like, that's pure platinum shit. And he just stuffs them in his pants like, well, I gotta go. I got the shits. I gotta go home.
Too much eggnog.
Yeah.
I got me a soupy dump. Gotta take that out.
So we covered the story on February 15th, and Anthony Spivey was due in court on Monday, February 21st for a possible bond revocation, which, fair enough, that's probably going to happen, and to face additional charges. But then on Sunday, February 20th, with his options running out, Anthony Spivey decided to do something drastic. When interviewed by the local news, longtime friend Harold Dean Sasser said that Spivey had been, quote, in a dark place for the past several weeks. Sasser said that Spivey considered him to be a father, and he often confided in him and his wife. And Spivey served in the Marine Corps before becoming a police officer. Sasser said, quote, he told me not too long ago that he wished he was just back in Afghanistan. He said at least there he knew who was on his side. So, you know, this like seems like pretty... He's going to a pretty dark spot.
I know who's on his side. The medics with the morphine.
Yeah. So Sasser, who's this father figure to Mr. Spivey, was watching a documentary on George Washington this past Sunday.
What an important detail.
Well, no, and I wanted to shout out, by the way, the Columbus County News, absolutely beautiful reporting on this by Jefferson Weaver. And what a great name for Jefferson Weaver, local reporter. Like, it's perfect.
Come on the show anytime you want.
I know. I did email him because I wanted clarification on one point. He hadn't hit me back, but maybe
what was the name of the documentary?
No. There's 2 people. It doesn't matter. So he was watching a documentary on George Washington.
Cherry tree, getting
cherry tree, all that shit. He's
wooden teeth, even though they were slaves' teeth.
Yes. Yeah. Well, they were both. He had 2 sets.
One was like the fine china.
Literally.
Yes.
Well, Rivers, who do you think got the wood for those teeth? Rivers,
that's fair.
Who do you think got the wood for those teeth?
Yeah. It was Hood Surgeon DDS. So he's watching this documentary on George Washington when Spivey popped in his door and asked to borrow his truck. Quote, there was nothing unusual about that. I told him to go ahead. He said he would be gone for about half an hour. Around 8:30 p.m., Sasser said that he became concerned. He called Spivey's wife, Eve, and asked if Anthony was around. She told me...
His drug dealer only lives 5 minutes away. He should be back by now.
Quote, she told me she hadn't seen him for a while, Sasser said. I was worried he'd broken down somewhere or his phone was dead. And Sasser said that he then spent a couple hours riding around the area trying to find his truck to no avail. Quote, I knew he had court on Monday. And we had talked about that. I figured he'd gone down to the river just to clear his mind before court. On Monday morning, Sasser said that someone suggested that he look at the Sand Hills Hunting Club near Fair Bluff on the Lumber River. Quote, as soon as we got out of the trees, I said, hey, there's my truck. The pickup was backed up to the riverbank. Sasser said the tailgate was open, and while a wildlife officer was calling for assistance, Sasser said that he spotted Spivey's boat some distance downstream, jammed up against a large tree. In the incident report filed by the sheriff's office, the first responders found a .22 rifle with one spent shell inside the boat. With tears in his eyes, Sasser vehemently defended the man that he said, quote, is a son to me. Or he was like my son. Anthony was not on drugs. Those charges are false. Anthony was a good man. Oh. He was in a bad place, a dark place. And those months in jail took something out of him. And everything in the news, on social media, all that stuff. He loved his family. He loved the Lord. He did a lot of good for people that nobody ever knew about. And this is just hard to think that he's really gone. And when Sasser opened his truck, he found an envelope on the console. Quote, when I picked up the envelope and I saw that it said, to family, I just thought, oh God, no. In a copy of the note obtained by the Columbus County News, Spivey wrote, quote, if you're reading this, I'm already gone. I've crossed the line over to the other side. My judgment day came today. Only God can judge me, not some corrupt judge or DA. They straight railroaded me. I'm not the monster they say I am. I can't beat the good old boy corrupt system they have here. The pain they have caused me is unreal, and I would do anything to take this pain away, so I made this choice. I made up my mind to die before I allow them to put me back in hell. And so deputies were searching with water rescue teams, tracking dogs, wildlife officers, a helicopter, ground search teams, all that for 3 days, but they found no trace of the man. It's so sad, you know. I felt bad for making fun of the guy, you know.
God damn! I was like, well, what's the twist? He faked his death.
I think he faked his death. It sounds like he might have faked his death.
You know, I felt
they didn't find a body.
They didn't find a body, and I just, you know, it's kind of like the Joker. You're like,
did they find blood next to the spent shell and gun? Because that would definitely be
how is it like the Joker?
Somehow.
Rivers, finish that thought.
The Joker, he's never truly dead. Batman, you know, knocks him off a building, and you don't see him, and then he's back like 5 issues later. You know,
that's all comic book characters.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
it's not Joker central.
Well, it's all of them.
Like,
yeah,
you know,
but
when Joker shows up with pill dust under his nose.
Did you see the
remember that Batman story where the Joker became chief of police in Gotham?
Well, he was the ambassador to Iran at one point.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's how he got diplomatic immunity for killing Robin.
Yeah, which I think they stole from Lethal Weapon too.
Yes, they did.
But yeah, so you know, I felt bad. I was like, damn. And there was, you know, I posted that video, and then somebody in the comments was like, hey, you know, they're like looking for his body right now, and I was like, oh my God, that's fucking, oh man,
Dude,
you know,
if we find it, think of how viral it'll actually go.
And you guys are partially responsible. I blame you two for this.
Yeah, what if he heard the podcast?
That's what he did say his critics on social media, so I was like, damn, is this my fault? Is there blood on the hands of Harter, Baymel, and Langley?
Probably
I'm not actually finished. So while the search for Spivey was going on, investigators got a tip that something is fishy in the Lumber River. In an attempt to avoid an earlier court hearing, Spivey had claimed to be sick with COVID and submitted a fraudulent note as proof. So when officials heard of the suicide note, there was immediate skepticism.
This guy
charged with 70 felonies could have lied.
I fucking knew it.
Loris is a town in Horry County, South Carolina.
Great.
And
God damn it.
If y'all live in this area, please tell me how it's pronounced, but it's Horry. So I'm calling that Horry.
Yeah.
So
who founded the county, by the way?
You know what I could see it being like Worry, like a Worcester kind of a thing.
Oh, Worry, Hurry.
Horry County.
Worry County.
Mm-hmm. Well, where they drink water.
I could see that happening
out of the creek.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be right, but I could see that happening.
They wash their clothes.
They wash their clothes in the water in Horry.
So come on down here to what's it? Horry County.
Well, it makes it worse because the town is Loris. Lori and Horry County.
Horry County. Like, is this a Richard Scarry book?
So come on down to the house down in Loris.
So Loris is a town in Horry County, which is only 20 miles south of Chadbourn. So this is 20 miles away from the town where he's wanted for all these crimes. The Watson's Place Apartments is located on the south side of Loris in between two retirement facilities, the Oaks of Loris and Hope Arbor Senior Center.
You're sharing this for a reason.
That one, that second one, that's hell on earth. I can guarantee with the name. Like, that's one of those old folks' homes is kind of nice, and the other one is just disgusting.
Oh, yeah.
So it was here at the Watson's Place Apartments that at 12:45 a.m. on February 24th, Columbus County Sheriff's officers entered the home of Brenda Rowell, Spivey's aunt. They'd gotten a tip that Spivey might have faked his own death and was now hiding out at his aunt's house in Loris.
Fuck.
Okay.
The cops did not find Spivey in the house, but they did find him behind the house, alive and trying to hide, submerged in a creek next to a retention pond. So
they have like a straw in his mouth.
Yeah,
It's a freaking cartoon.
It didn't say, but it was a cartoon. I was like, this is straight. Like he was
a Little Rascals plot.
Yeah. So he was like, oh shit, they're here, and jumped out a back window and ran. And I looked at the Google Maps, and there's this retention
pond. Did one of the
pond.
cops searching play with his marbles and just shoot one in the air, and did it fall into the little straw?
Yeah, he's just sitting there like, don't mind me, I'm just a frog.
Yeah.
Ribbit.
The cop's just like, you're not David Blaine. You can't hold your fucking breath for 10 minutes. I see you.
What you've just seen is magic.
So cops.
I'm not him. Our mistake.
Hey, I'm a different guy in the creek in February.
Yeah.
I'm not him at all. So
See, you're looking for the guy in your place. I'm over 20 miles away.
Do I look like a police chief?
Don't answer that.
So they shine a flashlight on him, and he yells that he would have to shoot the cops if they tried to capture him, and he took off running. And so after a very everything I read described it as a very short chase through the woods, Spivey was tackled and arrested once again, and his bail is now set at $5 million.
Wow.
Which is what it should have been in the first fucking place.
Why does he even get a bail?
That's what I was also
trying
thinking.
to go on the run.
One, why does he get a bail? Now, granted, I'm answering my own question because he got caught to begin with, but if you're going to fake your death, you gotta at least leave the state, right?
Yeah,
Look,
I was going to say the same thing.
And
You
look at
can't
this.
hide out.
We'll put this picture online. No one was more surprised than he was that he got caught based on this picture.
Did he used to have longer hair? Did he do something to change his appearance?
He just has the beard. So he's
3 days worth of scratch.
He's still got the coppiest cop haircut you can imagine, but he's got the beard. So
put on a hat, buy a wig.
At least do the glasses and nose and mustache.
Go to a fucking Spirit Halloween. Go get yourself a shitty Ellen DeGeneres
Oh, that's
wig.
not him. It's Dracula. Dracula isn't the man we're looking for.
That's Ellen DeGeneres. That can't possibly be.
So
that's just a man in a Conan O'Brien mask.
Just a rubber mask.
Yeah, just a rubber mask.
Just the rubber baby mask. Just
there we go.
The realistic baby. The realistic baby mask. Yeah.
That's just an overgrown baby. It's upset.
It's in the water. Of course, get it out of the water.
Get that cold baby out of the water.
That cold baby out of the water.
It reminds me of my favorite Deep Thoughts by Jack Candy, which is what would convince a regular person to jump into an icy river to save a solid gold baby. Perfect joke. The Columbus County Sheriff's Office said more than $64,000 in taxpayer money was spent on the 3-day search. Sheriff Jody Green wants Spivey and all of those who are accused helping him to pay the money back. Quote, time and equipment used to investigate this elaborate ruse, if you will, orchestrated. I love this fucking small town. There was a little bit of a ruse, if you will.
Elaborate ruse.
All these people are on pills.
That's the other thing. It's a bunch of pillheads chasing each other around this county.
No, they still have the same problems as this guy, but they just got promoted now.
So, he says, this elaborate ruse, if you will, orchestrated by Anthony Spivey and his band of misfits, he said. Please know that I am seeking restitution from all these defendants. And
I seek restitution.
So, speaking of the band of misfits, the guy that I talked about earlier who was standing there being like, he was like a son to me, Dean Sasser, he and his wife, Debbie Sasser, were arrested for obstructing justice, and both are being held under a $100,000 bond. So those people are his accomplices, and apparently what happened is they showed up and they're like, okay, this seems like bullshit because, when you shoot yourself with a 22, there's usually blood.
Yeah.
And then you don't just disappear into the water. Like your corpses will eventually bloat up and float. Yeah.
Yes.
So this was ill-conceived from the beginning.
He never saw Twin Peaks, did he?
No. You gotta weigh yourself down if you're gonna do all that.
Too fucked up to pay attention.
But basically, the way they figured it out was
trying to weigh himself with catalytic converters.
They reviewed security footage and saw him and this dude like driving out of there. And like I said, when we talked about this with Nat, like, I'm not a cop, but I've seen a lot of movies. He had a 3-day lead.
Yeah,
he could have gone fucking
so far.
Anywhere.
For 20, really gotten so far. Even in just a car, could have gotten so far away.
Especially if he's got this guy driving him.
3 days, he would have gotten to the other side of the U.S.
Mexico.
Yeah,
go to Mexico.
Canada, the border, any border.
Yeah,
that one astronaut lady. Go to a store, get yourself a Depend, and drive. And drive until you're out of gas.
You know what? The Depend is just a formality. You can shit and
piss yourself.
Just shit. You're starting a new life. Just shit your pants. You're gonna need new pants anyway. You've been seen in them.
Shawshank Redemption, 25th Hour. There's a million things to watch and know how to get away with this, but he went 20 miles from his home. He got this dude. He's like, "Could you do me a favor and drive me an extremely reachable distance from the crimes that I did?"
Again, at least leave the state.
And furthermore, could you please drive me to my mother's sister's house?
I'm glad he was in charge of the police.
Yeah, exactly. He can really think like a criminal, and solve all those crimes. But yeah, so he went 20 miles away. The reason I included that detail about the 2 retirement homes being on the other side of this apartment building is because I was like, well, who tipped him off? And there's a really good chance that a lot of people probably could have done it, but just on a very simple level, a 36-year-old man entering a place that's just nothing but old people.
Yeah,
how is that not?
That's a big red flag.
It's one of the old people, I think.
Yeah.
Are you Gale's boy?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
They would always it would be like, who? I've visited my folks when they lived in another community, and they're like, now whose son are you? That's.
They all want to talk to you. You can just see this guy.
No one has ever talked to them, and it's like, oh, a person from the outside.
Yeah, and he's all fucked up on Xanax, just being like, not now. They're like, hey, why did I see you on the news?
There's no reason to be abrupt.
All old people do is watch fucking local news.
Yeah,
seen his picture 1,000 fucking times.
It's like stepping in a fucking anthill going to a place with a bunch of old folks. So if you're this guy.
Local news, Fox News, Bosch, and Reacher. That's all they watch. That is all they watch.
So I got kind of curious about Dean Sasser, the guy who's on the video crying about his friend who was then assisting him in escaping.
And the Academy Award goes to
yeah, exactly. And he's not bad, I gotta say. I was like, when I still thought he was dead, I was like, damn, this old man really cares about this guy. And the whole time he knew.
Where do you think he learned it from?
Yeah, that's true. He learned from the best, at least the best in Chadbourn.
Watching you, fake dad.
Dad, if that's your real name.
If that is in fact your true identity.
But I looked at Dean Sasser's Facebook page. I found it, and one of his more recent Facebook posts is a meme that's from the Bible, and it's meant to be xenophobic. It's meant to be xenophobic, but it sort of works for the situation. Deuteronomy 28:43, which is, the foreigners who reside amongst you will rise above you higher and higher, but you will sink lower and lower. They will be the head, and you will be the tail. All these curses will come upon you. They will pursue you and overtake you until you're destroyed.
Okay. Number one. There's a problem with this.
There's more than two things.
There's more than two things, but the things that pop up immediately to me, you're talking to a Christian that hates the American church. Number one, Deuteronomy, it's a letter written for a very specific people. That's one.
For the duties.
For the duties. And number two.
I'm stoned over here now. I'm now just high and laughing at the word duty.
It's a funny word.
And the second one, that's not condemning foreigners. That's just saying, look, you guys fucked up, so you get to lose your land. Sorry.
Right.
It's not blaming the foreigners and being like, beware the foreigners. It's just saying, nah, you done sucked and fucked up.
Right.
That's on you.
But it's perfect.
And I sucked and fucked my way up.
But it's sort of perfect for this guy, because it's
perfect for him.
You let the snake in the garden, my man. Now you're fucked.
You knew I was a snake when you brought me in.
So anyway, shout out to Chadbourn. Hopefully this guy stays locked up and we don't have to keep going on this. But I was like, I can't not do a follow up when a guy fakes his own death and is hiding in a lake.
Rivers, everything comes in threes.
Amazing.
He is going to fake his death in jail.
Yeah.
That's ultimately what's next.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll be following it, and I'll be reading the Columbus County News. So
at least we got to read what happens during the trial.
Jefferson Weaver here live at the Spivey.
Jeremy Whitaker.
Jefferson Weaver.
Jefferson Weaver,
the most noble senator, Jefferson Weaver from 1809.
But yeah, that's the news from Chadbourn.